Ask Tom on Home Show.
Brian from Katy, Texas needs some duct advice.
Well, his are 20 years old, Tom. He writes to us, it's the main 1-inch duct board trunk line in my house. I'm wondering about. He says we're getting a new 3-ton system, and since 1-inch duct board has an R value of about 4, should I be replacing the trunk line, which is about 45 feet long? And also, any thoughts on using the aerosol sealant on my duct system?
Don't use aerosol sealant. That's for a whole different situation. So that's for filling little holes and stuff, and that's not what ductboard has. That's one good thing about ductboard. It doesn't have all those little breaches in it because it's one big piece and it's just taped together at the seams. But for ductboard being that old and the inside of it just being open insulation on the inside, it starts to deteriorate over time. And I would probably, since you're putting in a brand new system, I would replace the trunk line. If it was my house, I would replace the trunk line, and I would not use a ductboard. The ductboard is not a product that I ever used in anybody's home because of the nature of what it is. If you go buy a piece, you smell it, you touch it, you see what it is, you don't want to be breathing air going through that. I know it's approved. It's used in a lot of situations. I personally don't like it in a home, so I'm going to answer this question if it was my own home. Now, today's standards, when you add duct of any kind, is an R8. R8's just more insulation. It's not as much for energy efficiency as it is for keeping the ducts from sweating and keeping the cool and the hot away from each other, so you don't get that beer can effect of all the condensate coming off of the ductwork and causing problems in a hot, humid attic. So that's really where the main advantage is. It does help somewhat with the energy savings, but it also keeps a cleaner system and as far as causing less problems. So that's why the R8 is more of a standard product today. So I would change the duct board. I would use an R8, but I wouldn't use duct board. I would use a different type of duct, probably a metal duct, and have it wrapped if it was a trunk line like yours is.
Mm-hmm. So you'd have a hard metal duct running down the center, mine, and then everything coming off of that.
Yeah, and if you took flex duct off of it, I don't have a problem with that, like a spider leg. But that main trunk, I wish it would have been metal to begin with. Then that would have lasted forever. But since it wasn't,
that's how what
I would do.
Yeah, my clients in Florida, that's how they run the systems down there. They'll run a metal one down and then leg off of
it's very common. With Texas homes, we have so much all over the place, as opposed to the Florida home, where I'm from Florida many years. I trained there. Everything was nice and straight. We had nice, beautiful, easy trusses we put up. We run the trunk lines through. We dumped all the rooms. If you had a second floor, it would be a little bit tricky with some fur downs, but it was a lot easier, and that was a more common way. And then if you go up north, you'll see the trunk lines in the basement, and they'll all go up to the heating system with more flexible ductwork into the registers. So it's not an uncommon thing to do. In fact, it keeps it nice and compact and organized.
It's not uncommon to need help, and that's why we do these videos. And if you want to send us your question, visit HomeShowRadio.com, click on that blue Ask Tom button, and then you can decide whether you want to send us a video or you want to write a question. If you write, send us a picture, because it helps us understand better what's going on, and the better we help you, the better we help everybody else who watches these videos. So teamwork makes the dream work. Help us out and do a better job. You'll find these posted every day on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and of course at HomeShowRadio.com.